just so you're aware. Now, do a couple things here.
I was going to ask you if I could have a shot of your stuff, or would you come out and give me a hug?
Give me a little what? Bet I just started recording.
Okay. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna do a little recording of these. So
I was just wondering what you're going to build.
I ain't gonna build nothing. I'm gonna do a little recording of these, and I'm already recording here, so I'm trying to get set up. Already going live.
All righty then. Well, you have a good time with that.
Give me a few.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Hit the mute when it pops up.
Okay, no problem.
There we go. Oh, deal with the old lady. All right. So I hope everybody's doing good. Let me bring up my other window. Don't want that one. Want that one. So I can see what I'm doing in pretty much real time. So, got a couple items here. I just got in today from Treal. Seen these on the website 5-7 days ago, something like that. Actually on their Facebook page. Went and checked them out. Decided to go ahead and order them. And everybody's seen the sprockets and you know, front brake disc is the, you know what it is, stock sprocket, stock front brake disc. However, these are titanium, so it's lighter than the stock and should be stronger than the stock, or nowhere more weaker. Although the spur, or the sprocket I should say, sorry, rear sprocket should be much stronger and longer wearing, being titanium over the aluminum or the stock kind of steel sprocket that there is. Plus a little bit lighter for less rotational mass. So it should keep the spool ups a little faster, not throw off the weight shift too much. So what they're going to go on, or what tentatively right now, is I'm going to go ahead and put the front disc on this new tire that I got ready to go on the Maico bike, and put this into the Treal titanium front disc. The sprocket I'm not going to do, of course, because I have, you know, for the gold. Although being titanium, it would be nice to see if Treal could, you know, dye these and get them colored. That would be kind of cool, because there are some colors you can do in anodizing with titanium. So if we could get a titanium gold sprocket, if anybody from Treal happens to be listening, that would be pretty kick-ass. At any rate, I'm going to go ahead and leave this one on and run it. It's brand new. But I got to get the bearings out of the stock tires. I ordered a set of Fast Eddy bearings off of eBay, but they haven't got here yet. They were supposed to be here today. These showed up, which I didn't know when to expect these, but I didn't get the bearings in, unfortunately, so I'm going to steal the ones out of the stock wheels. I could take them out of the other one, but I'm not. They'll be here. Bearings most likely be here Monday. I think they were in Ohio yesterday at 3 or 6 o'clock, so they'll be here, you know, Monday. So I just take them out of this because I'm thinking about going and racing tomorrow. And there's one other thing I want to do while I got this kind of tore down as well. So actually, let me go ahead and put this back for the moment. So first off, let me go ahead and take the stock rotor off the front disc. That's the one. No, it's not the one. That? Yeah, that is 3 mil. Okay. So let me go ahead and pop this off. I held those in nicely, so they shouldn't come back out, even though it's all dried up at this point. So pick the top disc off. Open this up. Put the stock disc on. Actually, I can do it that way too, but we'll open up the Treal disc. And where is my... Oh, let's see. 2 bags. Oh, they even give you screws. But I'm going to use the black ones, so I'll leave those in for there, and I'll use the stock screws here. Didn't realize you got screws with the front disc, so, well, you know what? I better weigh those. Those may be titanium screws. I'm going to double check. The cost was $25, I believe, for the titanium ring. You can see it does look different. It's a little darker in gray color. Doesn't have the fancy lines or anything in the piece. Or, I'm sorry, it does have, you know, more venting in it. I can feel it's heavier for sure. So let's go ahead. I'm going to set this on here. And that's going to register me at a 0. And I'm setting grams. So let's move this. And this is 32.8 grams. We're going to put the titanium back on. It come up to 14.1, so 32, 22, 18 and some odd grams. So it's got a difference of 14.1 grams. That's why I did it that way. Now I'll tear it out. Oops, went to tear. Stock ring, so difference 14.1 grams. Stock ring is 32.9 grams. It's showing me here. And the titanium ring is 18.8. So quite a bit of rotational mass loss. Pop these open, I guess. Because I do want to double check that. They don't feel like they're stainless steel. They're considerably lighter. Got a little bit of Loctite on them. The stock screws are a total of 7.8 grams. The screws that come, the shoulder screws that come with the disc, 7.1 grams. So a little bit lighter. I'm willing to bet these are titanium. It doesn't say anything. Let me double check. I mean, not about the screws anyways. Treal titanium alloy front disc caliper brake. Front brake disc caliper for LOSI Promoto MX -new. I wonder if those screws are. Okay. I'm thinking they might be. But they might not be. They do feel like they're lighter. But maybe not that much. I mean, 0.8 grams, I can feel a difference, so it's about a gram. I know people, oh, you're nuts, you can't. You can feel a slight difference. Use them, we're going to. So let's see. It's going to go in there like that, so that has to go on there. Shows like this stock. Shouldn't it be the other way around? I see. I get it. I'm going to use this. Put just a dab on. Okay. Not as free floating. Might have to deburr the inside of the yeah, it's a little too snug. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the stock screws because I'm sure they'll probably spin a little better. I take this and use this to take them out because that thing's got to float and I don't want to spend that much more time messing with things. These ones are bigger though. What we got up in there? Hey Bushman, how you doing, man? What's been going on, buddy? I guess there's one thing I'll have to try the stock bolts first, just to make sure. Yeah, it'll slip a lot better in there. Shoulders on those bolts could probably be cut down just another couple thousandths, just so they can slip inside this rotor piece better. U. Yeah, that's a lot better. So yeah, 14.1, 14.2 grams difference lighter on the Treal titanium disc over the stock front brake disc. So decent amount of weight difference for rotational mass on the front end. Now the stock screws are a little heavier than the screws that came with it. I don't know if those are stainless, some other alloy, or perhaps titanium. I don't think they're titanium because I think they would be more than just 0.7 grams lighter. Okay, find a little touch, make sure everything's snug. Now it's all of a sudden tightened back up again. Alright, I'm going to have to deburr that. God, it was doing so good till I got the last one tightened up. Pop these just a little bit. Looks like the insides of the holes need to be. Yeah, so we need to tighten them up a little bit. Gonna have to take and grind out just a little bit of these disc holes. Need a round file. I don't have one with me. So I do have a small deburring disc. Alright. So if you're paying attention, Treal, clearance the holes on the front disc here a little better. And I would do it on the disc because both the screws you sent and the stock screws are a little, the disc don't free float like it should. It's a little catchy and rubbing on the edges of the shoulder bolts. It needs to be just a little bit more free floating. So what I'll do, don't need any more of this on here anyways. I'll take and I'll deburr the inside of them just a little bit with some low speed Dremel and a small diamond bit. If I got one in here, I think so though. Not the right one. Close enough. I guess I could use that one. That's a straight out flat bit. other one. Wire box. Use that one. A little finer bit. Use the other one though. Okay. Let's start with this one. Guess I got some anything like that. Okay. Just checking the holes. Okay, let's see what we get. Go back to these. They are a little bit lighter. Still too tight on those. Okay. Oop. Felt good in the holes. Still needs a little bit. Still not quite there. Crazy. Clear still a little more. Alright, there we go for round 2. Now let's see what happens with the stock ones here. Still kind of tight on these ones. I can get it to work smooth with the other ones, stock ones. I'm fine with that. For 1 gram, I'm not going to be concerned. Crazy. That much out of it. Still feels a little like it might drag on these. We'll get this other one in and we'll see what it happens. Alright. Pain in the butt. Not sure exactly what is going on here. Let me check one thing different here. We'll see. Maybe these holes are just a little smaller. I don't feel any sloppier than that stock rotor. Well, these are the Treal screws. So let's see how the Treal screws go with the stock disc. Okay, but as soon as you tightened up the rotor screws all the way, the Treal discs seem to snug right in there. Just doing much better. So either gotta be the holes are either smaller, even though I still ground them out a little bit, than the stock holes, or are slightly off. And I mean slightly, just enough so that even a couple of the holes, but could be all of them, are, yeah, that's working fine. Yep, all tight, all snug with the steel or the Treal bolts out of the front brake rotor, and it's floppy and loose as it should be. So they may have a little QC to do. Say, I've already kind of opened these up. I'll continue to grind on them a little bit, but I'm not going to do it tonight because I'm really kind of hoping to have things ready and go play tomorrow. And I want to run these wheels because I'm going to be on a track that's got jumps if I happen to get out and don't have service calls. That's the one thing. I am on call, and that may interfere with my plans. That and how I feel in the morning. So I'm going to grab a different baggie here. You over there. I'll slip you in here, I guess. I'll deal with that later. So know if you buy the Treal front disc rotor, that's titanium, you're going to have to do a little grinding inside the shoulder bolt holes so it free floats. It's binding up a little bit for me, and it's not off by much, but those holes either are not slightly big enough, but you ground them out, and they feel even a little bit more sloppier than these, just a bit. And that tells me if that's the case, then perhaps the centering point is just off on a couple of these holes compared to the other ones, and they're not quite getting in the right place to allow it to, a big enough the circle, the clearance to allow that brake rotor to float like that, because it should be floating. Alright, so what are those? Those look like a 3. Yes, okay, I think that's not what I got in here now. Yes, it is. So let me pop this off. Okay, and again, I'm not going to run this right now. And I'm not even going to try to fit it at the moment, I don't think. I might. We'll see. Let me get it opening up. Now, this should actually work out well. Yeah, that'll work out fine. All the holes are nice and lined up. They don't need clearance on the shoulder bolts, so that's good. Are there any screws with this? So, no, let's see, that's interesting. The Treal came with shoulder bolts, but the other didn't. So, and yeah, I'll put these with the Treal caliper for now. So let's turn ourselves on. And our stock gold aluminum sprocket is 11.5 grams. The titanium is heavier. Is 20.1. So 9 grams. Just under 9 grams. 9.6 grams. 9.5, 9.6 grams heavier than the stock aluminum. So I'm going to put this back on. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start them with this. Don't like starting with the machine myself. I'm kind of a little bummed on the hub for this rear. This is LOSI Gold, and it is far more orange than this is LOSI Gold. That's actually gold. So this hub is awful orange for being a gold, and you got a little dyed a little too long. So it went to orange. Still not as orange as their orange. The LOSI orange color is even a little darker than this, I believe. Okay. Put this back in this. Put it in this bag here. It's a nice and clean bag. This can go in here. This can go in the front. And drop these in there with them. That can go back in this bag, or box, I should say. I'm going to try to do the rear shock. What time is it? 8:30. I might make another video. Try to redo the rear shock for you. If anybody wondering, that's the rear axle, the titanium axle from LOSI. That's why it's in there. Alright. Well, I might leave that because I think the stock one is a little different. Put it on its stand. Move her up a little bit. The side. Okay. That's probably the one I need. Get that one out. Okay. Let's see. Drip a little bit of this actually. Should go ahead and do it on the inside. little oil just on the inside of the race. That side goes down. Light taps, get her to the last square. Okay. Now then, that far, I need to move up. That. It's right there. Right there. Oh shit. Alright. I'll do it the other way then. I was looking for a Dubrow wheel balancer. I thought I had it right there. Obviously I don't. So we'll have to balance this wheel the way you actually would balance a wheel on a 1-1. In there. Like that. Kind of slots out of that one a little bit. And how you do that is without the chain on it. It's too big. Nope. Go. So, once you slip the rear tire in the axle, make sure your chain is out of the way and not touching and hanging up on anything. Sounds like something's rubbing a little bit there. Okay. And then you just spin it. See where your heavy spots are at. Well, that actually looks pretty darn good. Doesn't seem to be hanging up anywhere. Pretty good free spin. A little movement. This is the original. No, I'm sorry. This is a brand new tire. Original tires right there. Stock tires right here. It's the 4th or 5th spin. Just a little turn off. Fuck, send it. So basically it's a stock tire. I pulled this silver assembled wheel off my green Pro Circuit bike that I just got here a little bit ago. And then took the black wheels that I had, put those with the stock hubs, and threw those back on the green bike with the black rims now, and then put the hubs and the other pieces, this metal brake rotor and the gold deal on the other rims. But I also added, as you see, the gold is the hot racing rims. They're black, but I spray painted them gold. But they're actually a black hot racing reinforcement rings, no center pieces. Look at that. I mean, it's actually kind of interesting how it seems to spin a little bit better on its angle there than it did straight up and down. Yep, send it. Let's see. Peel that out, move it forward, put the chain on. Pull it back. Get the axle back in. Okay. All right. So titanium axle now installed in the back. That's including the now new stock rim and tire with the LOSI gold hubs, which look orange. LOSI metal brake rotor on the rear. Gold hub on the front, or gold sprocket on the rear end. And pretty well balanced. So now, like this nasty, nasty, nasty cigarette that you don't see. And then we pop the front. That's on the ball ends too. Okay. Oh, that's right. Clamp. There we go. There we go. Okay. Pull that front off. Take out bearings. And centers hub spacer. Loop bearing. Okay. All right. It's installed. Tighten our plug bolt back up. Pull it back down a smidge. Back out. No, tighten it back up. Spinner for balance. Okay, so everything's been lubed. Swapped out, got the hot racing rings on. These rims, new rims, so they'll spin truer than the other ones. Are getting a little wiggly. So I really should go through the back shock. Put a little lighter oil in it, softer springs. I got the springs to put in it. Let her spin down there. Put them there. There. Goes back there. Goes back there. Goes back there. Don't need that. Those bearings seem to be fine, even though I'm getting just a little drag on the rotor. Still spinning just dandy. Slide these up here, I guess, with the others. Still spinning, almost there. Nope, not ceramic, stock bearings. There's a little heaviness. Doesn't seem like much, but some. Alright, there's definitely a heavy spot there. Let's see what it's like. Let's see what that does for it. Got blue tack. Stuff you use to stick things on the wall. It's got a little bit of denseness to it. Pliable, stays soft and malleable, so it works great for balancing weight, as long as you don't have to use a bunch of it. Because then it just gets, you know, kind of ugly looking big old ball. And right now it is right here. so not too bad. Could use a little bit right there, I guess. So I'll take this one out the front. Probably should have left that in there and just grabbed some more. Got it right here. Tags right here. Let's see what it does this time. It's right here, almost on the bottom. The only bad thing is if your caliper drags, you're going to have to take your caliper off. Okay, I'm going right back to about the same spot. So I'll put a little bit straight up top here. Give it a little spin, see where she goes. Round and round she goes, where she stops, nobody knows. And hopefully that remains, because if it stops anywhere, all the time, just wherever, and it doesn't roll back, that means your wheel's in pretty decent balance. Make sure that's a good spot, and then sink it in a little farther. Kind of nice that you got a little cavity between these pieces. I think that's going to end up being too much. Yep, too much. Now the ball I just added is here, and the original one is here, just behind the caliper. So before we go too far, adding a different spot, I'm going to take a little bit of this. Come on, darn you. And add it to the original spot. It might not have quite been enough. We'll see what that does. Let's see what we got. 1:06. Yeah, it was kind of crazy on that Treal caliper. I'm going to have to hone those out a little bit, send them a message, let them know that they're a little snug yet. They may want to check hole centering. Not just to the disc itself, but to the other holes. Make sure all their holes are symmetrically centered to each other and the disc. Alright, where did we stop? Okay, our ball's here. So right where it was before. Now, a little past where it was before. But it don't look like it went backwards any, so we'll let her roll again. It's at the top, coming around to the bottom. 9 o'clock, well 3 o'clock for you. Okay. It's right behind the fork right now, just to the back of the fork. Let's roll the other way and see what it does. Caliper drag. All the way open. So she's not dragging. Ball is at the top, coming around to the bottom. At the bottom, rolling around to your 3 o'clock, my 9. It stopped about 8. Rolling back a little bit. A little too much weight. Just a little too much. So let me push this out. Take a little off it. Put it back in. It's right here. Give her a spin. Once I know it's the right spot, I'll pack it in a little better so she won't come out. It's probably a little easier to see back here. It's right at the bottom. Just went to the bottom, going to 9 o'clock. Moving towards the fork. I think it's just a little too light now. Put a little bit of that back in there. Got a little too much off. Add this little bit back in. Kind of flatten it in there a little bit better. Give her a spin. Okay, at the bottom. At the bottom. Coming up behind the forks. It is in between the forks and the caliper. That looked pretty good. It rolled backwards just a little bit. 30 seconds of the tire, maybe less. At the bottom. At the top. Okay, it rolls past the top. Just a smidge. And it rolled back. Just, and still kind of just wiggling. And just a grain of rice piece to it. It's been that fast. Okay, just went past the top. It's about at your 9, my 3. About 4 o'clock. Your 8. I think that's got it. We'll see where else it goes. Okay, slide that down there. Won't get lost. Getting a little caliper slide on the pads, but nothing too much. It's really stopping it. holding it up from spinning. It's at your 3, almost at the forks. So that's pretty good. It did, again, roll backwards just a bit. I'll go and give it a back roll and see what it does. It stopped pretty well. Weight's right behind the forks, between the forks and the caliper right here. Then after this, there's one last thing I'm going to try to do, which has to do with my lug, actually my cable, brake cable on the front. I'm going to try to work it so I can get my thing in the sheath a little bit better. Yeah, that's fine. Now, what I want to do here is, that ain't bad. The Treal lug, bring it up here, the cable sheath housing right here, this piece, wasn't drilled out for the cable sheath. It was just drilled out. It was a slot for the cable, and it needs to have the sheath be contacted and held inside this holder about yay deep, about halfway, so the cable can't just slide off and bounce around, you know, to hold it. And of course, I got antenna tube outside of the brake cable, so when I drilled it for 3mm, and that was a mistake. So if you do get one of the Treal lug sets for the front axle, these red pieces here on the bottom, and your cable sheath riser is not drilled out, use a 2.5mm. It's a lot closer, or actually measure the outside diameter. Maybe 2mm might even work. I drilled mine to 3, so it's a little bit big for the black cable. It's got a little slop on there. So I'm going to try to work it apart just a little bit and get with flat base screwdrivers to separate it, and hopefully get, without mucking anything up, separated just a little bit. So I can get that in there and maybe get it apart a little bit. I don't know if I've got a better, possibly that might work a little better. It's a little thinner on the blade. I'm going to mark it up a smidge here. We're doing this, but leverage here. Just to get this in there maybe a little bit. Alright, that's going to be a bit. Not going to want to do that too much because I don't want to chip it all up. But I think I might have got it. Let's see. Let me peel it down a smidge here. Shave the outside of this aileron too, just a smidge then. So I can shave just a little bit off his. You can see it's got a little ridge on the edge here. Let's see if I can work it in just a little bit now. I don't think it's gonna go. Try one more thing and just try to class it down a smidge. Alright, well, I ain't gonna worry about that much, because that will hold it and does what I need it to do anyways. Alright. Let's see if you look really good. Oh, a little nick in there right up in that piece. Those are the reds flaked off. No biggie. That will work. I've already tried it. It works out pretty darn good that way. At least the bearings are greased for the wheels, and everything else is in pretty good shape. So if I don't get any calls through the night and have a easy morning, meaning I can get up and don't feel like crap, then I'm gonna load my stuff up and drive 2.5 hours down to go play. It should be a good time. Plenty of batteries charged. I'll even take my charger with me, but I have plenty of batteries charged that I should be able to get down there, run some practice laps on my one batteries, get the other batteries, my race batteries, peaked off. Oh, look at that. A little much. Just a little much. That way when I start racing, I got my race packs ready to roll. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Last thing I'll have to do is adjust my ESC before I race if I get down there, which will take a few seconds. I'll make sure I got my programmer. But overall, yeah, I like it. Think she's going to work good. There's one last thing I want to do, because when I was trying to separate that piece, I felt my axle here slip a smidge. Come on. Really? Wow. Eyes of that shitty. I can't even get it in there. Oh, that might not be the right for that though. Back in there. That's my good. Alrighty. I'm going to call that prepped for now. Did the few things I wanted to do. New rims and tires. Balanced. Might have to tweak that a little bit. Actually, it's pretty good though. Yeah, man. I think I'm good to go. Not too tight, not too loose. Alright. So yeah, the stock aluminum sprocket on the other tire I didn't weigh. I'm assuming it's probably half a gram, 7/10 of a gram lighter than the other one, the gold one, but they both got an aluminum coating on them. I believe they're both aluminum, not steel. Pretty positive. Yeah, it's aluminum. That's aluminum. So the stock sprocket shouldn't weigh much difference than the other one, but yeah, the titanium sprocket's heavier than the stock aluminum sprocket, or the aftermarket, you know, from LOSI Gold, anodized. I see Hot Racing has aluminum in different tooth count sprockets. Yeah, speed setup with a new drive sprocket on the front. But the Treal's is titanium, so it should, when used, last longer, wear much better. Bearings should do pretty good. This thing should turn out pretty well. If I can get the rear shock done to soften it up a little bit, great. We'll see where I'm at when I get down there. And other than that, I am pretty much ready to roll, I believe. Redid my muffler. Looks a little better even from that way, but this way it looks a lot more scale. Instead of being way silver, way up into this area, I trimmed it down, added a little bit of Lexan in there to create a rounded top, and then used aluminum tape, aluminum duct taping, kind of clean it up and give it that nice aluminum look like it should have. So that turned out pretty good. So alright, I'm going to go ahead and knock this thing off. Thanks for hanging out, Bush. Everybody else that checked in, hit that like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate it. Had a new subscriber today, so thank you. I subscribed back to you. Hope everybody's having a good day, a good weekend, and wish me luck if I get a chance. Wish me luck that I can go race, and then wish me luck that I do well in it. Because really, this would be my first ever, quote-unquote, RC race ever. I've raced RCs, but never in a quote, a series or anything like that. This is going to be going on once a month down at this track. So I'm going to try to get there every month till May, I think, when the series ends, or June. So I'm going to try to race it once a month with it and see where we go and go from there. So, all right, everybody, thanks. Have a good one. We will talk at you all later. Hit that like, subscribe, and come back, watch.